Okay, Eva, today's Voice of Bold Business Radio is called In Relationship. And Tanya Dahlhaus is going to be here to talk to us about things like stereotypes, about what's perceived about us, and what do we have perceptions of when it comes to our relationships on the business side of things as colleagues and acquaintances. I'm curious, tell me what in relationship means to you.
Well, certainly not only romantic side. I mean, we are in all kinds of relationships during our lives, in different phases of our lives. And most important for our voiceable business today, we're talking about being in relationship at work.
Yes.
Workplace, which is not a romantic relationship. Sometimes it can be, of course, but maybe Tanya can help us as well with that. Some people do mix workplace and intimacy.
That's true. They do. And what does that do to your person, to how you're perceived and your promotability, if you will? And so I'm really interested in this. And while you were talking, how do we start relationships is a question that I have for Tanya, because I will give you an example. I was part of a bait and switch through LinkedIn here. So those of you who are watching on LinkedIn, you got to check your manners. I talked to somebody. I said I wanted to meet them because I thought they would be a good candidate to talk about some information that they have that I found on their profile. And it turned out once I talked to them, they handed me off to somebody else, and it was more like an appointment setting service. So I got interviewed and I got sold on my very first phone conversation. And while the guy was nice, the person who I was originally talking to was nowhere to be found. And you know what? That's not a really good way to start a relationship, because I was already like, well, who are you? I hadn't talked to you at all. You aren't the one that reached out to me. And I was a little iffy about the whole thing, and my iffiness, that little intention, that's not what I'm trying to say. Our intuition that tells us somebody's intention was on, and it was high alert, and turned out I was going to be sold. And it turned out to be an okay conversation, but I was very disappointed. I was disappointed because that relationship has nowhere to go except for a sales call. Now, we don't have a chance to connect personally. And,
actually, you didn't have a relationship.
Oh, good point.
You were a ping pong ball.
Tricky. We might have to talk about that some more too, because this is the kind of stuff that we run into and we may be doing, and we don't realize that we are doing it to other people. And when we want relationships and we want that authenticity and we want that connection to build our own credibility, to build our own network, and more importantly, to be seen as approachable as a thought leader or an authority, or, fill the shoes of the role that we're in. I find that this is a pretty big topic when we get past the initial intimacy part and can we be friends at work and stuff like that. I hope we get to cover it all. What do you think? Do you think we will, Eva?
I hope so, because there is one other thing that you might ask Tanya, because she's a dating agent.
Yes, please.
There is something that we call at work a honeymoon time, like a month.
Oh, the honeymoon period. Everybody talks about that with your car, with your work, with your new job, with your new, exactly, who you're dating.
When you come to the office, everything is fine for a month or 2 weeks, and then things start to emerge. So I think that today, what time?
Today at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time.
Of course, in Europe, 7 p.m. Central European Time, and Pacific, 10 a.m. So come and join us.
See Tanya Dahlhaus. She is the dating agent. Talk to you soon.
Bye.